If you're a veteran, especially four-star generals, stop talking about the war. Why did things go right? Why did things go wrong? And what's going to be happening in the future? You know, as the World War II stuff said, loose lips sink ships. Loose lips cost lives. Hello everybody and welcome to the Honor and Knowledge channel. And I just saw something else that I hated to see on TV. Today we're going to talk about the fact that military veterans are spending way too much time speaking to the press, cable news networks, about what their opinions are, what the facts are, whatever they want to say with regard to what went right, what went wrong, why did it go right, why did it go wrong. You know, all the stuff that the enemy, the Iranians, need to know in order to improve the future ability to hurt United States military. Talking about Karg Island, talking about boots on the ground, talking about how to get the nuclear dust or the nuclear material out of the ground, talking about all the different things that might happen to the leaders after these negotiations have failed.
I still believe the president is holding the cards here. He's got the blockade, and also I'm convinced he's going to do what he said he's going to do. He's going to pull the trigger here if these guys don't accept the deal that in his mind is the only acceptable deal with the terms we all know and are familiar with.
If they don't accept the deal, General, soon, you think that the U.S. and or Israeli intelligence will just take the new leaders out, just take them out?
Well, yes, I do, to be frank about it.
Yep.
I don't want to get into too much of the details here, but let's just say that would be a general objective in mind to do that.
Yeah.
All these things is information being provided to the enemy. I had thought that there was one four-star general, General Keane, who was doing a great job, and I was going to be making a video about the fact that all four-star generals and below, which would include me as a retired Navy captain, nuclear submarine qualified, that all military veterans, except for General Keane, but now General Keane crossed the line on Fox News. Love General Keane, but you know what? It's hard sometimes, if you're talking to the press, to control yourself, to limit yourself to saying, well, whatever will be, will be. The only military people that we should be listening to are the people that are presented by the Trump administration. Secretary of War Hegseth, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Caine, the CENTCOM Admiral, Admiral Bradley Cooper. Those people have all been providing fantastic information. And yes, the Commander-in-Chief, President Trump. If they say things, you know what? That's who we should be listening to. The Iranians, they lie, cheat, and steal. We know that. So why is it that the press keeps repeating what the Iranians say? Caroline Leavitt has said it repeatedly, that the press needs to stop listening to the Iranian government. You know, the devils. They call the Americans the big Satan and the Israelis the little Satan. Well, guess what? If you really sit down and think about who's killing tens of thousands of their own people, it's the Iranian government. And I don't want to hazard a military personnel because some generals or lieutenant colonels or anybody who was a veteran providing information with regard to what is and what's not going to happen and why and all the wherefores and that type of thing. In fact, even the civilians, like Fox News, this is what really put me over the edge. Fox News, non-military person, they said, we got reports from the Pentagon.
The Washington Post reporting that, quote, it could take 6 months to fully clear the Strait of Hormuz of mines deployed by the Iranian military. And any such operation is unlikely to be carried out until the U.S. war with Iran ends, the Pentagon has informed Congress.
It's going to take 6 months to clear the Hormuz Strait. Well, guess what? I can make an argument that it's going to be forever to clear the Hormuz Strait. Not even from mines that were put in recently, but from mines from a long time ago. Heck, there's still World War II mines being discovered over in the North Sea, north of Europe. I could also make an argument that we could clear the channels necessary for cargo ships in 3 days. I could make an argument anywhere in between. Why should I? I shouldn't. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. To get back to what the World War II posters were saying, because of things that we learned through blood. We learned these lessons through blood. We shouldn't have to repeat these lessons for all these veterans. Please, veterans, don't take the money from the press. Don't take the celebrity status from the press. The best way of not dying in a parachute accident, and here's somebody who's afraid of heights, the best way of not dying in a parachute accident is not jumping out of an airplane in a parachute. The best way of ensuring that you're not going to release some information, some opinion, something that may create a hazard for our own military or an advantage for the Iranians, which would be the exact same thing as creating a hazard for our own military, the best way of not slipping something out is by not being there to begin with. Now, I'm not telling you not to say you're pro-Trump or anti-Trump or pro-Hexit or anti-Hexit or say anything political that you want to, but stay away from military-related information. Stop saying what the military is going to do. Stop indicating what they should do, what they shouldn't do, how they're going to do it, how they're not going to do it, what the challenges are.
General David Petraeus is retired U.S. Army general and former CIA director.
I think both sides, frankly, really do want an agreement. Obviously, there are challenges domestically for us if this continues. And I don't think that either side really wants to return to full-on combat, knowing what that could represent.
Actually, I saw two retired four-star generals from the Army. Weren't General Keane, General Petraeus, and another one who got a Silver Star and other great decorations. He was a fantastic military person, but as a civilian, been a civilian for, I think, 30 years.
This retired four-star Army General Barry McCaffrey. Thank you so much for being with us on a Monday.
Yep, good to be with you, Josh.
So, General, how significant is this blockade? Smart move, risky, as Iran's threatening every port now in the region?
It's a mess. I listened to two very serious and experienced commentators this morning arguing that it was a sensible action to try and use the U.S. Navy to force the Iranians back to the negotiating table. I suppose it could come out that way, but there's two points I think that contradict that line of thinking. One is the U.S. Navy warships should not be in the Persian Gulf. It's shallow water, it's confined spaces, they're subject to swarm attacks, subsea, surface, air. It's a dangerous place. And by the way, it's a long way up to Karg Island, 400 miles. And I think the second observation is you can't use military force to guarantee safe passage of oil tankers.
These generals, no matter how many stars, these admirals, no matter how many stars, captains like myself, colonels, everybody needs to stop talking to the press, stop talking to say things about what is going to happen. A lot of us want to remain relevant. Well, right now be relevant by being an American citizen, pro-military. Support our country, whether you support President Trump or not. And as President Trump says,
thank you for your attention to this matter.
God bless the military. God bless President Trump. And God bless the United States of America. Remember, loose lips sink ships. Thank you for watching the Honor and Knowledge channel. Goodbye.